Welcome to Bryson. My name's Conrad. Today we're going to share a strategy that's going to help with mitigating unfortunate situations that might occur to your business. No matter if you're a Fortune 500 company soaring to the moon, doesn't matter if you're a startup company that's going through IPO, initial public offering. If you're succeeding, doesn't matter if you're a small business, a big business, if you're a wealthy business, if you're popular, if you're a celebrity, if you're a social media influencer, if you're a musical artist, a dancer, if you're a sports athlete like Anthony Joshua. Unfortunately, Anthony Joshua was involved in a fatal car accident in Nigeria. 10 days after December 19, 2025, he won over $90 million prize for doing an amazing job in winning the Jake Paul Netflix exclusive fight. He basically won over $90 million. So unfortunately, he's really popular at this point. He's really trending, but there's a target on him. The reality is that now that he actually was in an accident 10 days later, that's it. He was in a car accident where it shows that it's been reported that he's stable so far. So our prayers go out to him and his family and everyone involved. But unfortunately, two of his closest friends, unfortunately, lost their life that day. That's really unfortunate. It's hard for me to talk about this. But behind every business, behind success, there's families and people we want to take care of. So here at Bryson, we have a responsibility to share all of this with business owners and celebrities and anyone who has any type of employee on payroll or independent contractor. Even if you have a 1099 independent contractor, if they pass away and they're working for you, and if research is done and it shows that you treated them as an employee, you can actually inherit responsibility and be sued for that. So I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself. Again, doesn't matter if you're in the UK, doesn't matter if you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, if you're in any of the 7 continents from Australia, Antarctica, Asia, North America, South America. It doesn't matter what the case is, where you're at, in all 7 continents, check with your local municipality, your local government agencies, your local CPAs or tax people or tax strategists, and make sure what I'm saying is true to you, because just because it's true here might be different in the UK, might be different in Australia, might be different in Africa, might be different in Asia, might be different in South America, and North America, etc. There's 7 continents, there's a big world. We're here just to share the framework of thinking so you can take this for free. We're dedicating this to you, we're donating this to you, so you can do your own due diligence, and we want to do our best to help you, because behind every successful entrepreneur, there's a team of people. So unfortunately, it's hard to talk about this. Anthony Joshua just had an amazing victory, and 10 days later, 2 of his closest friends and trainers unfortunately lost their life. Anthony Joshua is in stable condition. This is an unfortunate situation all around. No one wins here. This is terrible. But it can always be worse. And how it can happen is if his legal team or if things aren't set up properly, what happens is his friend's family, Sina Gemi and Kevin Latif, as the picture shows here, they obviously were close friends, right? Look at the picture. No matter how close they are, you have family, dependents, children, spouses, live-in partners that might come, and they know that he earned over $90 million. And now these 2 wonderful individuals that were his trainers too pass, they could possibly sue Anthony Joshua. Even if this is no fault of Anthony Joshua, they are with them, and this can affect your business. This can happen to any of us. You could be a small mom and pop business. You could be a Fortune 500 company. And someone's injured, an employee's injured, you could be sued for it. You could lose everything. So you want to follow these guidelines as a framework of thinking to strategize so you can mitigate as little loss as possible while also taking care of your employees. First and foremost, the most common one is life insurance. We all know about it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it does need to be brought. There's 9 others here, and I have some bonuses here that most people aren't even aware of. But the first most common one is life insurance. Life insurance. Now, caveat. I'm going to mention all of these. Let you know, you can set up payroll to deduct this from the employee's paycheck. The benefit to this is there's two types of employers. One employer wants to pay for everything or pay partial of it and match it and really give a benefit and invest into their employees and pay for it, and that's fine. And the other employer doesn't want to pay a penny at all. So they end up not having any coverages, but not knowing that, hey, outside of life insurance and a lot of other products, you can actually offer benefits, and all these are not insurances. These are just strategies I'm going to share with you that can be implemented. Some are insurance and some are not. But the point is, you can offer these to your employees and they can pay for it themselves. And if they pay for it themselves, now you just give them a benefit. A benefit, a real tangible benefit. Now, if they say, yes, I want group life insurance or any of these other strategies here, it could come out of their paycheck, and now they get a direct benefit. And what this does for you, it builds up a track record and a bit of a blueprint showing that you took a fiduciary duty stance of taking care of your employees. Pretty great. So if the family of the deceased party comes after you, later on you can say, hey, you did everything in your possible power to take care of your employee. That's a great defense to have. If you're ever sued for something that's not your fault, or if it is your fault, you want to show you took the proper precautions to take care of each and every employee. But also, they can pay for themselves. That means you pay zero out of it, or you pay the reduced amount, or you pay half, whatever percentage you agree to. You can pay part of it, you can pay all of it, or you can also have them pay for 100% where it comes out of their paycheck, and they can pay for it, but at least they have these benefits. And as an employer, you typically are rewarded wholesale rates, meaning you get it at a discounted rate in comparison to the employee trying to get life insurance or some type of other one of these benefits here. That'll be a lot more expensive. But once an employer is usually significantly reduced in price, and it's a lot more beneficial because now you actually honor them with a discounted coverage, but they still have access to it, and you get this for all your other employees and at a discounted rate, and it comes out of their payroll. That way you don't pay anything for it. And if you do want to pay for it, you can do that too. But the point is, this is for people that don't want to pay for these extra benefits. Maybe they think that it's too expensive, and most of these are cost effective. Most of these are pennies on the dollar in comparison to what they offer. Pennies. And you get tax write-offs and tax deductions, typically speak of your CPA and speak of your tax person. All these that you previously invest in as the employer, you typically get back on your taxes or get tax benefits where it ends up paying for itself anyway. But again, talk to your CPA, talk to your tax strategist or your tax person. I'm just giving you an opinion and framework of thinking so we could grow our mind, grow our viewpoint of how to actually take care of our employees. So that's something to consider. So if you want to pay for it, tax benefits. If you don't want to pay for it, great. Then at the end of the day, at least it doesn't come out of your pocket, but you're still offering it to them. And get this, if they decline it, you make sure they sign a document that they're declining it. So if you're ever sued by the deceased parties, family, dependents, whoever, you can basically show proof that you did everything in your power to give them something, but they chose not to pay for it. That protects you later on. Business owners typically think about growing their business, marketing their business. They don't think about the mitigation component where Pearson Bryson, that's what we focus on. We believe in vertical integration when it comes to building a company up and keeping costs low. We also believe in vertical strategies as well. From the bottom up, we build you up typically and teach you and share and take care of our clients. So number one, life insurance. You get it for typically really deeply discounted rates, cost effective, pennies on the dollar, typically inexpensive. Even if the employer pays for any of these, pennies on the dollar. So very cost effective. Even if you don't want to spend, pennies on the dollar, and you get tax benefits that are way bigger. So again, you get to have life insurance deducted from payroll. It could be voluntarily set up as well as stated here. And you could choose to pay for as an employer or pay part of it, or you can have it completely come out of the employee's payroll. Number two, survivor income and income replacement plans. Very important. Income replacement plans are valuable. And the reason they're so valuable is because after an employee passes away, unfortunately, and even if it's not work related, this is the cool part. Life insurance and most of these benefits don't have to be work related most time. So even if they're injured or get in a car accident or a fatal situation or accident outside of work, you just pay their spouse, their dependents, their parents, whoever's the custodian of their of their children, of any, like whatever the case is, their children as well. You can take care of this and have it and pay the spouse and have them pay through the income replacement plans, because this family, for example, if they have small kids or if their kids in college, or it could pay out dividends of money to keep them maintain their lifestyle, because that's a hit. You lose the primary house, the primary income earner, and also head of household, and you could lose a lot of your lifestyle and business. So the survivor income plans and the income replacement plans can be something that you offer them. And again, this can also come out of the employee's payroll. So if you want to pay nothing for it or pay partial, it can also come out. So this gives you the option, if you even if you don't want to pay for it, you still offer this to them. And if they decline it for whatever reason, you have documentation showing that, hey, to the spouse, that hey, or to the dependents, we did our part. They signed on this such and such date. They didn't want this, and that protects you further, because you can lose everything and lose a lot, or get negative feedback or scrutiny or libel or suffer from slander due to all of this. And this could just mitigate this and lessen it, because they at least are being paid something outside where it doesn't have to be you paying for it. It comes from either an insurance product, a certain fund that's set up. But again, setting up income replacement plans, very beneficial. Most business owners don't even know about that. Number 3, disability insurance. The good thing about disability insurance is this. Disability insurance is not necessarily if your employee passes away due to it could be any matter. It's if they're disabled. So if they're in a car accident outside of work hours, if they are at the mall shopping for their kids during Christmas time or during a holiday, or just as out on the outing watch a movie and they slip and fall and injure themselves and they're not okay. What this does essentially is they can't work for you, right? But now what it does is it pays them an income. It sets them up as a W-2 employee, and they're paid typically bi-weekly. Some could be weekly, but for the most part, it's usually every 2 weeks. They're paid a check. It matches whatever they typically pay, typically anywhere from 60 to 70% of what they typically earn. There's supplemental packages you can add on to this to really bring them back to 100%. So say, for example, say they were earning $100,000 per year. The disability typically will pay 60 to 70%. So that'd be $60,000, $70,000 per year, and broken up in maybe every 2 weeks or every month, however they got paid prior to their disability. It usually matches that. And you can also have it where a supplemental plan comes in, where it pays a difference of what that disability plan is not paying to put them back in 100%. And these typically are cost effective and pennies on a dollar compared to what you think. A lot of business owners think they're a lot more expensive than what they are, especially as an employer, getting them at group rates. You get today at such a cheap price compared to what you think. And again, you don't have to pay for it. You can have it come out of your employee's payroll check. When they get paid, they pay into it, and then when they need to use it, they use it. You can do it that way, or you can pay for outright, and again, you get tax benefits, and you offer this benefit to them. If they decline it, again, that's documentation. So if something happens, or they say they got injured outside of work or during work, you protect yourself and say, hey, this is offered to you, you declined this. This protects an employee that's disabled. It could be them not being able to stand up for too long. It doesn't have to be what you think disabled. It could be whatever the medical clearance states. And there's short-term disability and long-term disability. Short-term disability is typically anywhere from 90 days to about 180 days that you're allowed to be on short-term disability, which is about 6 months max, which is 26 weeks, which is half a year. But it can be extended typically to 52 weeks, depending on if your medical provider or physician provided proper documentation to support this. It'll be approved, and they can stay on it for up to 1 year, which is exceptional, right? So 1 year, they're off work, they're injured, they can't come back. They have peace of mind. You took care of them. Way to mitigate risk so that you're not sued for that, and also you keep them taken care of. Again, pennies on the dollar for this. I really mean that. It's a lot cheaper than what people think it is, and you get tax benefits. And again, if you don't want to pay for it, you still offer it, just have it come out of their payroll. And if they decline it, you write down they declined it, but it was offered to them to protect yourself. So that's one way, and that's short-term disability. Long-term disability, anytime over 52 weeks, as soon as it's over a year, it becomes long-term disability. A second claim needs to be filed because short-term disability is different from long-term disability. But to have long-term disability, it requires medical clearance and medical documentation. Short-term disability, up to typically about maybe 26 weeks, which is 6 months, typically doesn't need really heavy like medical documentation. But it is encouraged for the most part. It's up to the disability provider, but they pay you and they match basically what your pay was. So typically you need medical documentation, but if to get long-term disability, you need more clearance actually. And it's a different form, different fashion that you go in. But the point I'm making is that you're pretty much taking care of your employee by offering these products, and they can actually pay for it themselves. That way you pay $0 as the employer, but you still offer these benefits. If they decline it, you write it down, document, hey, this was offered to them, they declined it. That way the family or them can't sue you if they're injured due to work or at work or outside of work. That's the point. And this gets scary because the reality is with Anthony Joshua, he's a successful boxer, clearly. He just won over $90 million in his most recent Jake Paul fight through a Netflix exclusive event. Jake Paul can even possibly sue for this because we live in a litigious society. If the attorney finds or the legal formality figures out that, hey, he was in Nigeria because something related to Jake Paul or some type of event or negotiating a deal, and they found it, that's the reason they were there, and these two of his friends unfortunately passed away in the car, the family of these two deceased trainers can actually come after Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, even though Jake Paul wasn't even there. Jake Paul's recovering from a broken jaw after the fight. He has no part in this. But the point is, we live in a society where if they could find and connect dots to where the money goes, the money's theirs. So your goal is to separate them as much as possible, build as many layers as possible to make it hard for attorneys to pierce that corporate veil. If you circumvented something or made a mistake somewhere or mismanaged money or paid for something with the wrong accounts, you want to make sure you set up such a strong construct that they can't pull money if you're Jake Paul, if you're Anthony Joshua, if you're a popular celebrity. There's so much you can't control. All you can do is follow these steps and increase the likelihood of these negative events not occurring to you. Very important. Next, accidental death and dismemberment. It's exactly what the name states, AD&D, accidental death and dismemberment. If you survive, say a glass goes in your eye, say you get dismembered in some type of fashion, or if you pass away untimely due to like a car accident, like the two trainers and longtime friends of Anthony Joshua, this will pay on top of life insurance. Even if you don't have life insurance, it still pays out. Very inexpensive, cost effective. Even your own bank institutions will typically offer this to you for free or for very low amounts. And employers can also do this. And again, payroll can also deduct this from the employee's paycheck if they agree to it. It's voluntary benefit. And if they deny or decline it, then you document that they don't want it. And so if something happens or if they pass away or they're dismembered or deformed in some type of fashion where they'll qualify for this, but they don't have the coverage, they want to get mad at you or try to sue you later on. So that's what happens. People get mad, and now all of a sudden the person that didn't want car insurance, they get in an accident, they want short insurance, and then they'll sue you because you didn't offer it to them. You have a fiduciary duty as an employer to offer as much benefits to them as possible. So that way, if something comes back, you can protect yourself and say, hey, no, we offer this. This person declined it on this such and such a date. Now they're blind, or now they passed away and the family wants money. This person denied this coverage, so you can't sue us for this. You want to make it as strong as possible. This isn't about getting out of responsibility. This is actually about being more proactive and responsible. That way, if something comes out, you did all your due diligence and protection to help your employee, but they chose not to go this route. But you did your part and you took your fiduciary duty to take care of them. You should not be sued for that, or should mitigate at least to show that no, you're responsible. They chose not to be covered. They didn't want to pay for this. This is good for people that don't want, and entities and companies that don't want to spend extra money for benefits, which I understand because it could cost, but it's a lot cheaper than what you think. It's usually pennies on a dollar, and it can be a tax benefit where it ends up paying for itself because you get more tax benefits that write off pretty much or deducted anyway. So something to consider, AD&D, accidental death and dismemberment. Please look it up. We left a lot of information below as well. This is a long video, I know, but we're sharing as much as possible because we do care about you here at Pearson Bryson. And doesn't matter how big or small your business is, or if you're a celebrity, very important to understand this. You're focused on creating art. You're focused on being an amazing singer, an amazing dancer, a performer, entertainer. Doesn't matter what the case is, or you're a business that just wants to market yourself. You're not typically worried about the ugly side. It's not even fun to be in. To think about death or what I'm talking about is very depressing. So I understand, but it needs to be talked about. You don't talk about this, you'll be sued. Anthony Joshua could be sued by the deceased party's family, even though they were his close friends, because this is just how things go. When someone loses their head of household income and they lose that lifestyle, they start thinking, whoa, how can I get my lifestyle back? Before they even go through that framework of thinking, you build this out that way. Now they don't have to jeopardize their lifestyle. They might have young kids. They might have kids in college. They might have responsibilities and debts that need to be considered, a spouse that needs to be taken care of. They might even have a divorce where they owe some type of pay to their divorce, maybe, or child support. You want to make sure you're covered. Doesn't matter if you're a celebrity, if you're a business, it could come your way as well. If they connect the dots or show that there's any mismanagement of money, if there's piercing the corporate veil where you circumvented or made a mistake or error. So much to consider. It gets fairly scary. So we're here to protect you. Next, this is more traditional, a pension. You can actually set up a pension for your employees, and you pretty much know what that is, probably for the most part, but I'll go into it very lightly. A pension is a benefit where if something will happen, like if they survive, great, but if they don't survive, the spouse, the dependents can receive a pension on behalf of the deceased party, which can help them sustain their life, have income coming in, and also lessen the likelihood of them suing you or suing you for as much as they would, regardless if it's your fault or not. Very important to have a pension. This typically has to be funded by an employer. This isn't something that typically will be funded 100% by an employee. This is typically employer funded. That is traditional and is beneficial and really works well for long-term employees. Really a good benefit and quite a benefit and package to have if something happens to this employee, regardless if it's due to work or not, it can be outside of work as well. They will be paid a pension and their family can be paid a pension on behalf of the deceased party. Very important. Pension. There's also survivor benefit plans. These are typically employer oriented as well. And there is one caveat though. If you want to come out of payroll, there is a way to do it. But the way to do it, I can't go deep into it, so I don't want to take more time. So that's a whole nother. But survivor benefit plans, you go into it. But the way you go into it is it has to be insurance based though. So pensions and survivor benefit plans that are employer oriented, like paid for by the employer. These are very great tax benefit vehicles for employers. It gets a little complicated, but it's really beneficial. So you end up winning in these type of situations because also you're doing your fiduciary duty, but you're also getting these wonderful tax benefits. Talk to your CPA, talk to your tax person in your country, in your state, in your municipality. If you're in the United States, if you're in the United Kingdom, if you're in Canada, and if you're any of the 7 continents, talk to your tax person and verify all the information this video is stating. I don't know all the rules for all your countries, but this is a general rule of thumb that I'm going over this so that you have free information that you can take to protect yourself. So very important. Again, if a survivor benefit plan can be paid by an employee out of their payroll check, only if it's insurance based though. It's an insurance product that comes out of their payroll that will pay them or pay this survivors, the dependents, the spouse, the live-in partners, domestic partners, whatever the case is set up for that. It will pay for this child support event. It goes into maybe spousal support if there's a divorce, just in general. That way, these people, kids, dependents, divorced wives and husbands, don't sue your company for it because now they lost that person. They could try to come after you. You'd be surprised. Like, this might sound far-fetched, and I'm not expecting a lot of views on this because this is an ugly topic. But I'm being honest, with all this news with the whole Anthony Joshua and his 2 buddies that passed away, unfortunately, this could come back and hit the person that's worth the most money. So you, the business owner, that's just how it is. That's how this game goes. You have to protect yourself. So primarily, Survivor benefit plans can be insurance based. That way, they actually come out of the employee's payroll. That way, you don't pay for it; it's free to you. But if you do want to pay a percentage of it or pay all of it, that's fine as well. And then again, you get tax benefits. And again, that's the strategy around it. It could be insurance based, or you can give them a pension or survivor benefit, or having a survivor benefit that's insurance based. That's a way you do to have it come out of payroll. 6, employer funded trust or benefit funds. These distribute funds over time. So after the person has passed, what this does is it helps us mismanagement of money. It sets up a trust essentially. This is something you want to set up with the attorney or set up as well. It ensures children's education or long-term care. Say there's a child that needs long-term care, a parent that needs long-term care, a wife, a husband, someone in the family. Whatever case, you set up the way you want to. If you want your kids to go to college, it helps you with mismanaging money because maybe they're not used to being the head of household. Maybe they don't overspend. It gives them a budget counselor, someone that can actually budget this. It structures it in such a way where you basically won't overspend, but it's good for long-term income after the person's deceased. Their beneficiaries, their dependents, their spouses, their domestic partners benefit from having an employer-funded trust or benefit fund. Again, usually this is used by family-owned businesses, high net worth individuals, also high trust organizations. They use this strategy. That way, after, say, your employee passes, their family's taken care of because it's actually they have funds coming from this trust. But it stops the issue of mismanagement of money. It structures everything so that if your kids are supposed to go to school, if your spouse needs a certain amount of money per month, it structures it in such a way where you have money coming out of this. Very important to set this up for that. Typically, this is set by an employer, though, as it states in the name. Employer funded means employer funded. You don't have to offer this. There's just extra ideas for those that might want to consider it. You can also set up your own fund, but check with your municipality, check with your attorney and tax CPA, tax strategist, etc. Employee funds as well. That's employee funded through payroll. So this is a fund that's created that comes out of the employee's payroll, and that way, every time, say every week or every month that they pay, that they're paid, a fraction comes out of their payroll, and if something would happen to them, this would be used for a fund. This could be really beneficial. And that's the one workaround. You can make this become a funded, employee-funded, like benefit fund that works to pay after they are deceased, unfortunately, for their dependents, their children, their spouse, their living partners, etc., domestic partners. That's just one way. But again, check with your attorney, check your CPA to make sure that's valid in your state, municipality, or country, or continent. But properly, it's usually employer funded, but you can make it employee funded as long as it's agreed upon by the employee. And if they decline it, you document it, as I mentioned many times before. And if you document it, if the family comes to say, hey, you did not offer this to us, or hey, you owe us money, or you say, hey, I did my part, you had a fiduciary duty, I went above and beyond, and this helps protect you in court. Next. This is what you don't have to do. Again, you can pick one of these or all of them. And even using one of these will significantly protect you and also honor your fiduciary duty as an employer. But at the same time, will also give you peace of mind knowing that if you're ever sued, you've already built a case showing that you did your part. Attorneys come in and they find out everything you did not do. And that's how they could pierce your corporate veil, show there's mismanagement of funds, show that you overspent here, you spent using this account over here, you did it in this country, you didn't pay your taxes. They'll destroy your company, especially if you're a celebrity, if you're a business owner, if you're a Fortune 500 company. Make sure you follow at least one of these steps, if not all of them. You'd be surprised how these cost pennies on the dollars, inexpensive to do any of this. This, you can have your employee pay for all of it. If they decline it, you document that they decline it, you pay $0. And if you do decide to pay, you get tax benefits where it ends up paying for itself anyway. Very important. So please, let's not be ignorant here. So again, continuation and or start of health benefits. What this means essentially, if your employee passes away, their wife, their kids, their significant others might have insurance that was employee oriented, or they might have had health insurance that was privately purchased by them. Now they have no more coverage, right? You can actually pay for this for them if you like. And this is another strategy you can offer as a benefit, a continuation, or even go a step above, a start of insurance for them. So maybe they never had insurance before, but you're like, hey, your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your living partner passed away. So how about we offer this benefit to you? And if the employee accepts it, you can set up a fund for it where it comes out of their payroll, and they agree to it. Or if they decline it, you show, hey, they declined it. You're building proof now. Hey, they declined this. This was offered. They didn't want to pay for it. Or you can offer this and pay for it yourself and create a fund that has a stipulated amount inside this fund. And then once that fund is spent, you can offer more. You keep it closed. You can put that in your contract. But again, work this by your attorney. This is another high net worth strategy that I'm sharing with you. Create a way of offering this to your employees as a package that, hey, if something happens to you and you pass away, we will pay for your wife, husband, kids, dependents, health policies for a certain amount of time or forever, indefinitely. Really up to you. It's your business. You can structure it the way you want to. The point of this is the effort you're making into this is what builds cases to mitigate any type of liability against you that you can be sued for later on if something will happen to these people. This does happen, unfortunately. These are proper strategies that the legal team of Anthony Joshua can take to show that, hey, we did everything in our power to assist these two close friends, but also employees. Remember that? Even if an employee, even if you pay someone an independent contractor, if an attorney really wants to dig and show that, hey, no, you told them to clock in at a certain time, you had told them to come with you on this trip, you told them to do this, it starts looking like an employer-employee relationship, not a 1099 independent contractor relationship. And unfortunately, a lot of business owners and even Fortune 500 companies make the mistake of treating independent contractors that are bonded like for their employees. So doing this helps you actually separate the division. That way your veil's not pierced, and that way you don't lose your liability protections, which is why you have a LLC, limited liability company, why you have a corporation, why you even have an LLC that you elected to be an S corp, so you're not double taxed. I go on and on and on, but I don't want to make this even longer. I'm trying to keep it as concise as possible, so I do apologize, but I'm passionate about this, and to me, people don't know. We're all focused about making money, marketing our business, being an amazing singer, being an amazing celebrity, being an amazing athlete, and you're destroyed legally. You don't know how to do your proper taxes. You don't know the tax benefits. You don't know how to protect yourself, and you're destroyed because you don't have someone having your back. Pearson Bryson, we're going to have your back and share as much free information with you so that you can take it to your people or yourself. Maybe you don't have someone, maybe you can't afford it, and that's fine. Everyone starts from different places. Maybe one day, maybe you don't have it now, but you'll be wealthy later on. Wealth is like a plant. Some people have it right away. You might just be a tree already, and some people are a seed. Doesn't matter where you're at. Take the information here and figure out how it fits for you. This is absolutely free. We're not asking for any money here. Next, besides that, health insurance, dental, mental health can all be offered. And again, it can come from the employees' payroll. That way you don't pay $0 for it, or you can pay for it and get tax benefits. Up to you. Another one, 8. Employer receives tax benefits. I've been talking about this the whole video. All of these that I've mentioned, even the bonuses I'm going to give you tax benefits. If you're paying for it, you get tax benefits. Even if you pay $0, you get tax benefits. But let me make this very clear. And every country is different. Every municipality is different. So please be very careful about what you're hearing here and do your own due diligence. It could change like that. But again, hear me clearly. Typically, when you pay for any of these benefits, you get tax benefits because you paid. But if you pay $0, there is a way to get benefits and tax deductions because there's custodian fees. You setting it up. You contacted the insurance company, the insurance agent, calling them, getting them set up. These are time that's being spent. You could document in such a way, but run this by your attorney. I am not your attorney, just sharing a method of thinking. And you can also get tax write-offs and benefits and deductions to you and to your entity for even giving this to them for free. If they're paying 100% for it and you pay nothing for this, you can still get tax benefits and write-offs and deductions, because these are custodian features that you're utilizing. You're using company time to make the calls, etc. That's the case. Now, if you pay for it, you get more benefits because you're paying money that can be tracked, and typically, oftentimes, it's pennies on the dollars anyway, in comparison to what it gives. And at the same time, you typically get these back in your taxes. So it's almost like you're not paying nothing anyway. Very important to think about this. Really important to consider this. Do everything legally, though. Be ethical. So again, that's the whole point. That's the benefit of all this. Most importantly, offering all these benefits and the bonuses I'm going to give you as well lowers the liability of you being sued. You being sued is a huge liability, my friend. And no one wants to be sued for the most part. It's not fun going through court. It's not fun being sued. It's not fun being on needles. It's walking around nervous, walking on glass, walking on pins and needles, and like you don't know if you're going to lose money or not. No one wants to deal with being sued. So what you should do before you're even sued, properly build the foundation of benefits. That way in the court, if it's ever brought, either an attorney won't want to touch this because they'll be like, this company does everything right, and this will be a disaster. But if they see that, oh, they're mismatching money, oh, they're spending this company's money, the sister company's money, in this parent company's account, and they're cross-managing and cross-mixing money or whatever, oh, we can probably pierce that. Now you made it easy. But if you're showing that you did everything right, you're honoring your fiduciary duty, you're making it really heavy with all these benefits, it's not accessible as much for an attorney. And it won't typically make sense for them to want to sue you. And if they do sue you, it's not going to be easy. Very beneficial. Next, I'm going to give you a bonus. So, Anthony Joshua was in a car accident. If you allow your employees to do deliveries for you, run an errand on your behalf, on your company's behalf, if they're traveling to a conference, where it could be a work conference, it could be traveling with the company, whatever the case might be, a work dinner, you might want to consider commercial auto insurance. It's pennies on a dollar. And I say pennies on a dollar because a lot of people don't know how much it really costs. And I'm surprised by that, but I understand. And when you actually get quotes, it's not as expensive typically as you think. And for what it offers, it benefits. And again, you get tax benefits for it as well. So this protects the business, having commercial auto insurance. It can even be temporarily. It can be temporary whenever they get in and get out of the car. It doesn't have to be all year round. It can be temporary. It could be supplemental. It's just so important. So commercial auto insurance, that's one bonus. Next is key person insurance. Key person insurance is exactly the situation that Anthony Joshua was in. Is that two of his people that trained him, that were his long-term friends, but also trainers, this is a detriment to him. This hits him directly. These are people, it's hard to find a trainer that you work with, rapport, that relationship's gone. So key person insurance helps pay for catastrophic loss. So if he's sued, if he needs to find another trainee, a trainer, another employee, whoever you lost, and if whoever you lose, if you have a restaurant, you have a chef that's absolutely amazing, it takes time to find an amazing chef. So it pays you for any type of losses that you could document. Like, hey, this month I made $100,000 per month, and last month I made $100,000 a month, and last few months I made $100,000 a month. But after losing my chef, we only earned $20,000, so we lost $80,000. Key person insurance can come in and pay that $80,000 and supplement that for you until you find another employee. It pays for hiring. It pays for if you're a celebrity, if you're a restaurant, if you're a business owner, and you lose an employee or a director or someone that's valuable to your project, it helps you recover from that. Very, very important. Key person insurance. Next, Legal Shield. Legal Shield offers a phenomenal service, and what it does essentially is it creates a plan that you can give to employees as well, and business owners and entities, where it can come out of the employee's payroll, where they can pay for 100%, you can pay part of it, up to you, and it can be tax write-off. Or you can also have an employer benefit where you paid for the employer when work protects the business. But the point is, you have one for the employee, you have one for the business. It's an attorney service that the employee and or the business owner or entity has attorney services and law firm in any state. If they're in Canada, they're in the United States. There's other companies that do match this type of service, but Legal Shield, and we left the link below for that as well. If you want attorney help and assistance, it's pretty cost effective for what it offers. You basically get calls that you call in the law firm and talk about any type of legal matters. If you're sued or litigated against, they can also respond in letters. They can also show up to court on your behalf. You're basically paying for an attorney, so you don't have to pay an hourly rate. It doesn't pay for itself because you have an attorney service that actually steps in for you. You don't have to pay per hour. You're paying a monthly fee, typically or annual fee, and you get basically unlimited attorney services for a wide range of matters, from intellectual property, IP. It could be accident law. It could be any type of like divorce or marriage law. It could be any type of law you can think of. They can actually help you, and they've been around for so long, and a lot of people don't know about this service. They're called Legal Shield. So if you need attorney services, follow link below. You can get it yourself. You do your own due diligence. Again, we're not selling you anything. It's up to you. We're not forcing you. Up to you. It's your business. We're just sharing the resources. So, and you can always ask some legal questions. They can set up trusts for you. They can set up wills for your employees. They can set up wills for you. They can set up things for your corporation, for your LLC. They can help you with getting an LLC and starting an LLC as well the right way, structuring it properly. They can even help you with websites to make sure like you're not committing any crimes, make sure you're not violating any cyber limits. The whole point is you want to really protect yourself. Legal Shield is a good, cost-effective way where you're not paying $200 per hour, $1,000 per hour. Attorneys can become fairly pricey based on the nuance and how they want to charge you. So to kind of keep that mitigated, you give this to your employees. So if they have any legal matters, they go directly through them. And if you have any legal matters company-wise, you keep the cost low by going through this law firm that offers Legal Shield. Very important. And you can also offer another bonus would be business travel insurance, which would really help the whole Anthony Joshua situation. Anytime you have, if it doesn't matter if you're an employee, if you're a celebrity, if you're an employer, having business travel insurance, if someone passes away during a business trip, it pays for them. It can pay this to their survivors, their dependents, etc. Very valuable to have this, very valuable. And last but not least, one of the most obvious ones is workers' comp insurance. That's usually legally required, at least in the United States, and typically required in a lot of other municipalities. But it doesn't matter what country, what continent you're in, having a form of workers' comp is typically for if you're injured during your work. So if you're working and you're injured on the job, at the work site, if you're traveling on behalf of the company, say you're going to a travel site and you're injured in a car accident, you slip and fall, you're hurt at a work site. Even if you're not at work, but you're on behalf of the work, you're injured while doing work on behalf of your job, workers' comp steps in and pays you. Very, very important, especially if you end up being paralyzed or have long-term injuries. Workers' comp helps you with making sure you're paid properly. Anyways, I know it's been a lot of information. I try to shorten everything up as much as possible. My apologies if I didn't go as deep as I wanted to. I went deep on some parts, but I try to keep it not as deep so that way I don't spend so much time. We spoke with our legal department on different ways to help our clients, and we just want to share some of the strategies that we would give some of our high net worth individuals and businesses. And doesn't matter if you're high net worth or not, doesn't matter if you're grassroots, doesn't matter if you're just starting off, doesn't matter if you're first hired a company, doesn't matter if your company is just about to go through IPO and go to the moon, doesn't matter if you're following an initial public offering. I don't care what level you're at. Doesn't matter if you have a lot of employees or one employee, if you're the only employee, maybe you're a one-person show. Take one of these and use it to help yourself. If you use all of them, they'll definitely help you, but even using one of these will significantly help you and help you mitigate any losses and the chances of you being sued. So our hearts go out to Anthony Joshua and two of his friends and trainers that passed away. Family, Anthony Joshua is in stable condition. We wish you the best and wish everyone the best. Our prayers really go out to all of y'all and all y'all watching us, and any business owners and future business owners. Even if you see this video 5 years from now or 10 years from now, it still will have a valuable place because it goes over properly strategizing and mitigating any possible situation that can occur if you have a business by honoring your fiduciary duty as an owner, a business owner, an entity, as LLC, a corporation, a partnership, and making sure to treat your employees well, give them benefits. If they decline the benefits, you document that way later on. You can't be sued for that or lessen the likelihood of you being sued for that. Very important, because when someone passes away, especially a key employee or any employee, due to work or not, the lifestyles change, that income's not coming in no more, and they might try to sue you or get money out of you because they have lost income, especially if it becomes the company's fault or connected by the company, or if you lost your life due to a work project. Very important. Anyways,